welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here. Welcome. Nice to see you.
It's good to see you. Good
we were just talking about all the football teams, and I know that you love football, and I'm starting to like it, so it's kind of been fun.
It's fun to watch, especially if you have a favorite team, even if they do lose.
Oh, gee, which one is that? Oh, look,
the
it's
Bears.
the Bears.
They didn't do well this week.
No, but I did pick them, though.
Oh, okay.
You know, sometimes I go, oh, well, I just know that Jeff loves them, so I pick them.
There you go.
Anyway, so you've got some updates for us. COVID numbers to start with.
Right. Well, the good news is the hospitalization rates in the ICUs are steady, so that's what we want. Actually went down a little bit there in the 320, and now it's 300, and the hospitalizations and ICUs have stayed right about that 80 number. So consistency and dropping, that's what we want. So that's the good news. Now, the number of positive cases, that's 1,400. I do want to make sure everybody understands that's a weekend total. That's a cumulative over a weekend. Okay. So that's it's a pretty good number. So when you look at the Tuesdays when we come report, it's generally has been in that 1,400 because it's a compilation of everything from Friday on. Okay. So that makes a number. I do want to say, unfortunately, 21 fatalities, though. That's a pretty big jump. We had seen in the teens and 10 and less. Yeah. And to see jump up to 21 is unfortunate. But
now that's an accumulation, though, of how many days?
Again, that's at least the weekend, and it could be, with regards to the fatalities, it could be lagging from last week, too.
Right, because definitely want to point that out, because before we were reporting out daily numbers.
Exactly.
Now it is an accumulation.
Especially on Tuesdays when we report.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
And if you go to the same website for Orange County Health, they do have daily reports, so you can check during the week, and you'll see hopefully tomorrow you'll see a number that's more in the like 300 range. With regards to Laguna Woods, we're at 519 cases. Again, that's a city of Laguna Woods, our encompasses, and that's up from 508 in a 2-week period. So not too bad, and the fatalities, the deaths have stayed the same, so that's good. So that's some positive news. So that growth from 508 to 519 in 2 weeks is slowing down. So that's another case, hopefully, that more people are getting vaccinated, or people are just taking the precautions that they need to take. So that's good. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to mention with regards to there's a lot of talk out there about the boosters and where we're at. So the FDA and the CDC have made what I'll call preliminary actions with regards to the boosters, saying that they're now, this is interim guidance, saying, okay, you can get a booster shot if you're in the 65 and older, or if you're in an immune scenario, uncompromised immune scenario. So they are saying, go ahead, you can now get that booster shot. And like I said, Rite Aid, Walgreens, CVS, depending on what you got. Now, they're recommending the Pfizer right now because it's the furthest along. Sure. But I do know that the Moderna are going to be looked at next with regards to that process. So again, my recommendation and our recommendation right now is to check with your doctor. If it's time for you to get a booster and you're eligible, then you can make that contact. We are still in contact with Memorial Care about if they're going to plan out any kind of rollout down the road. And there again, I think they have indicated to us that they're waiting to see full support by the CDC and the FDA with regards to the booster.
Well, right, and also I believe there was a discussion regarding, many people didn't get Pfizer, they got Moderna. Right. Therefore, can you get Pfizer, or do you have to wait for the Moderna? That was still in discussion.
They're expecting more information coming out with regards to the flexibility that you could have. And it seems like it's moving in that direction, that if you got one shot, you may be able to get a different shot for the booster. Okay.
All right, great. Good news, good news. All right, and then Laguna Woods update.
Couple things. One wanted to mention again, the 30th is election deadline. Yep. So if you haven't gotten your ballot in, the deadline to mail it in is that it be received at the elections inspector by 11 o'clock on the 30th. Okay. So that's a very tight time frame. So you can bring it here. There's a ballot box in front of the community center, and you have until 5 o'clock on the 30th. So I just want to encourage people, if you haven't voted, get your ballot in. The more votes, the better from that perspective.
Well, exactly. And then just to reiterate, there are a couple more Meet the Candidates airing,
Right.
and we've got one today, which will be at 10 a.m., and that was for United. And then there's one for Third that is later this afternoon. So
That's great.
we'll have those. Okay, good.
So the last thing I had was in the Globe this last week was a letter with regards to taxes that we pay on income taxes, and I wanted to let everybody know that in a sense what it was saying wasn't actually to the truth of everything that's going on. So I just wanted to make an announcement. So we do pay income taxes on an annual basis, and it depends on what income it comes from, whether it's broadband income or it's from other types of sales or obsolete equipment. When we sell that, that's an income, so those are taxable incomes.
Okay.
In the case was we had noted when we changed Fox News Network, remember when we cut those channels, that we were going to see an increase in revenue because our expenses went down. So we anticipated during the 2020 year that we would potentially pay income tax on that. So we posted that in our statements, our financial statements, because that's a requirement that you have. However, during this year, in processing those income taxes for 2020, we have until October to pay that tax.
Okay.
So as we were evaluating that, finance department led by Steve Hormuth and I, we went back and evaluated what chargeable services on the expense side could we appropriately charge against that revenue so we wouldn't pay the taxes. And I'm pleased to indicate that we don't anticipate, in the letter it made the comment that we're going to pay over $600,000 in income tax. We've actually cut down with our expenses a new calculation that we anticipate now with the revenue from that and the revenue from the obsolete equipment and those type of activities to only going to be looking at approximately $100,000 in income tax, really saving the village over $500,000.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I wanted to clear that up because that was kind of a misstatement that was made in there. The other comment that was made in the Globe was also referring to the fact that VMS staff and bonuses. There was a comment about bonuses that were made. The VMS was incorporated in October of 2015, and since that incorporation, VMS has not put out any kind of bonus plan or any kind of bonus incentives to our employees since VMS's. If there were bonuses here in the village before, that was under PCM and under that administration. But since VMS has been on board, we don't provide those type of bonuses.
Okay, all right, well, good. Thank you for the clarification on those because, it is important for people to understand, so.
And one other comment I wanted to make on that too is somebody made the comment, well, why didn't you just lower the per man or per month with regards to cable television when you knew you were going to have some savings? We actually did. As part of that, we reduced the per man or per month by over $8 to our residents when we saw that additional difference between income and expenses. So there was an offset over in our per man or per month.
Got it.
The difference is the per man or per month revenue that comes in is not taxable. Additional income in internet and those type of things is taxable, so it's not necessarily a dollar for dollar.
Okay. All right. Well, perfect. Thank you very much for the information.
Sure.
Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Sounds great.
Go Bears.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back after this with Bocce Ball and Social Club, so stick around.